Reflection for the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary.
When we come to Mass today on this great feast of the Immaculate Conception, we're celebrating something that happened long before the angel Gabriel ever knocked on Mary's door. We're going all the way back to the very first moment of her existence, when she was conceived in the womb of her mother, Saint Anne. And here's what we're celebrating. God preserved Mary from all stain of original sin from that first instant. She never knew the darkness that the rest of us inherit from Adam and Eve. She was, from the beginning, completely filled with grace. The readings today take us on a journey that helps us understand why this had to be. We start in the book of Proverbs, where we hear wisdom speaking about being with God from before the creation of the world. The Church applies these words to Mary because she was in God's mind from all eternity. Before the mountains were set in their places, before the rivers flowed, there was God's plan for this young woman who would become the mother of his Son. She was playing before him, delighting him, and her joy was to be with the children of men. Think about that. Mary's whole purpose from before time began was to bring God to us and to bring us to God. Then we come to the Gospel from Luke, and we hear the angel's greeting to Mary. He calls her full of grace. Saint Bernardine of Siena, that great preacher who loved Mary so much, once said something beautiful about greeting Mary. He said that when you hail Mary, she immediately greets you back. She's not rude or distant. She's utterly courteous and pleasant. If you greet her, she'll answer you right away and talk with you. That's the kind of mother God gave us. One who's always ready to respond, always ready to help. But why did Mary need to be immaculate? Why couldn't God's Son be born of a mother who had original sin like the rest of us? The answer lies in understanding who Jesus is. He's not just a good man or a prophet. He's God himself taking on human flesh. And as St. Anselm put it so beautifully, God is the Father of the created world, and Mary is the mother of the recreated world. God gave life to all things through his Son, and Mary gave new life to all things by giving birth to the Savior. Without God's Son, nothing could exist. Without Mary's Son, nothing could be redeemed. God needed Mary to be a worthy dwelling place for his Son. The collect prayer today asks God to grant that we might come to him with clean hearts, just as Mary was preserved clean for Christ. She had to be a spotless vessel, a pure tabernacle, because she was going to carry God himself in her womb for 9 months. The introit captures her joy perfectly, quoting the prophet Isaiah. She rejoices greatly in the Lord because he has clothed her with garments of salvation and covered her with the robe of justice, like a bride adorned with her jewels. This isn't just poetic language. This is the reality of what God did for Mary. Now, here's something important for us to remember. Mary's Immaculate Conception doesn't put her on some unreachable pedestal where we can't relate to her. Actually, it does the opposite. It shows us what God's grace can do. It shows us what we're all called to become. Mary is the first fruits of redemption. She received the gift of salvation before Jesus even died on the cross, because God applied the merits of his Son's death to her in advance. She shows us where we're all heading if we cooperate with God's grace. The gradual today reminds us that Mary is blessed among all women, that she is the glory of Jerusalem, the joy of Israel, the honor of our people. But she's also our mother, our sister in the faith, our example of what it means to say yes to God completely. Saint Bernardine also taught that all the harsh things about God, the consuming fire, the wrath, the weight that crushes, all of these were tempered in the wellspring of mercy by Jesus Christ, who was formed with love in the womb of the Virgin Mary. Mary's yes made our salvation possible. Her purity made it fitting that God would dwell among us. So what do we do with all this? The secret prayer gives us a clue. We're asking God that just as Mary was kept free from all stain by his preventing grace, so through her intercession we may be delivered from all our faults. We're asking to share in her purity, in her holiness, in her complete gift of self to God. This feast isn't just about honoring Mary. It's about recognizing that God has a plan for each of us to be holy, to be pure, to be completely His. Mary shows us it's possible. She shows us what grace can do when we don't resist it. And she's there, right now, ready to greet us, ready to help us, ready to lead us to her Son. As we receive Holy Communion today, let's ask Mary to help us become the dwelling places for Jesus that God created us to be.